I think a lot of times, oops.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you again. Today, I want to take a look at my first SB Dunk pickup of 2025. I was on the fence about grabbing these or not, but I'm really glad that I was able to get this retail W. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. I am trying to get to 25,000 subs by the end of 2025, so make sure you're doing your part. Let's take a look at these RIOT SB Dunk Lows. What is happening, everybody? I appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, this is my first SB Dunk pickup of 2025. Sometimes I still get surprised whenever I see that Gotham screen come up whenever I go for an SB Dunk, especially when it's a collab like this. But it is a great time to be collecting sneakers. I was going to go for that parachute tan pair if I struck out on these, but I went for these, so I didn't even go for those parachute SB Dunk Lows. I think those look really good too, but I just love the fact that it feels like SB Dunk Lows are accessible now. I'm sure anybody who's been collecting sneakers for any amount of time can remember that a couple years ago, it was almost impossible to get your hands on an SB Dunk collab for retail. We got our Quick Strike box. It is in the tan or the sail colorway. Just says Nike SB across the top. We've all seen that before. The tag reads Nike SB Dunk Low Pro Quick Strike. The colors are mahogany and dark beetroot. I kind of expected to see the color Bordeaux on there, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. I went with a size 10.5 in these. On standard dunks, I go with my true to size 10. On most SB dunks, I go with a 10.5 just because all that extra padding and the puffy tongues and that kind of thing makes them feel really snug on my feet. Like I said, I was able to get a retail W off the sneakers app for this pair. They retailed at $135 US. And enough of that box talk.
Check these bad boys out.
The RIOT Skateshop SB Dunk Low. When I first saw images of these, the first thing that came to mind was that the swoosh really reminded me of the City of Love SB Dunk Lows that we saw last year. There was a lighter color and then there was like a burgundy color that really reminded me of this, but it had a darker midsole. And I can tell you immediately, the materials on the City of Love SB Dunk Lows are nowhere near as premium as the materials on this RIOT Skateshop SB Dunk Low. Prior to this collaboration, I had really never heard of RIOT Skateshop, and I think a lot of times whenever they do these collabs with Nike, it's a great way to get the name of their store and their company out there and familiar with a broader range of people. From what I've heard about RIOT Skateshop, it is a skate shop located in France, actually in the city of Bordeaux, so you might even notice a very strong wine theme or an inspiration that has to do with Bordeaux wine, and we'll get into each of those details. But this skate shop was actually founded and is located in the city of Bordeaux, which obviously is where Bordeaux wine is made. Overall, whenever I first opened these, I was really happy with the pair, but there was one blatant eyesore that really just stuck out to me. I don't know if it's really coming through on camera or not, but maybe just see if y'all can see it and then I'll point it out to you. For me, I feel like it's really blatant, but a lot of times I'm more critical than what other people are, and I feel like once I have them on feet, you probably won't see the blemishes much. But I did already mention that all these materials are very premium, which I love seeing, but a lot of times whenever we get really good materials like this, they're not very forgiving at all. And on this pair in particular, there is a huge glue stain right above my finger here. So I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but to me, it was really blatant. I did try to just rub it off of there, seeing if that would help. If y'all have ever had a glue stain on really good suede like this, let me know what you did, if there was anything you could do to get it off. I'm not sure if maybe like a suede brush or even like a suede eraser would do any good, or if it would just make it more blatant. I don't want to make it any worse. Y'all might even be thinking, what is he talking about? But on this left shoe, right on the outside of it, there's a pretty big glue stain. And like I said, I am probably more critical than the average guy, just because I like it whenever I get pairs and I don't see any blemishes on them. I am still glad I was able to get these for retail, but I really hope that I can do something to get that stain off the outside of the shoe. The outsole has this really nice translucent, it looks like a Bordeaux color. I forget what color they said on the box, but it's just a really dark burgundy color. It does look like the color of wine. And underneath of that, especially here under the heel, you can even see that they've got grapes kind of printed underneath there. So again, it's just a nod to their roots, to the city of Bordeaux, and I really like little touches like that. I love the color of this outsole. The light barely passes through it, but it is just really cool looking in person. It's got a standard SB Dunk Low tread pattern, so we have the pivot point that has the little stars on it. And then, of course, we've got the Nike SB branding there at the midfoot. Very similar to a regular Dunk traction pattern, and also very similar to a Jordan 1 traction pattern. As we come up from that outsole, we can see it meets a bright white midsole, and I think that looks really nice and clean. It really pops up against all those rich colors. And I really like how they made the stitching that nice dark burgundy color as well. It's just a nice accent. Then as we come up to the upper, my favorite thing about this shoe, without a doubt, is the materials that they decided to use. For all these overlays, it's either a very short-haired suede or else a nubuck. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, but it's in this nice burgundy color, and you get a lot of back and forth kind of color shift with motion, and I love seeing that. But you can just tell whenever you look at it, and especially when you feel it, that it is a very premium material. I love how the stitching creates a nice accent as well, because it's a lighter burgundy color. It almost matches the color that we have for these laces in here. I think the stitching throughout the entire shoe creates just a nice little contrast and just a nice little pop. That dark burgundy overlay is on the mud guard, it goes up the eye stays, and then it wraps around the heel of the shoe. And another touch that I really like on this, apparently their logo is a black lab, and towards the back of the heel you can see that little black lab kind of embroidered on. I think that's a really nice touch. I'm a huge lab fan. I actually have a chocolate lab, but labs are my favorite breed of dogs. Let me know what kind of dogs y'all like. I am just such a huge chocolate lab guy. I love them. She's a part of the family for sure. While we're talking about the overlays, for the heel tab, where we usually see the Nike branding, on the left shoe, it has that standard Nike branding like we're used to, but on the right shoe, it says RIOT for RIOT Skateshop, of course. And this is a nubuck material, and again, it's a lighter color than what we have for the other burgundy overlays on this pair. I mentioned previously how the swoosh really reminded me of the City of Love SB Dunks that came out around this time last year, and a lot of that is because it's got this cool border effect that's created by actually two pieces of fabric, one on top of the other, but the bottom one's a little bit bigger. It almost looks like it is a patent leather or something, because the border has a little bit of a shine to it. And I was assuming that this top material was kind of like a leather, but it feels very synthetic. And last night, whenever I was looking at these inside the house, the light caught them, and they're actually reflective, but they reflect a really cool red color. And I don't know that I've seen that on a pair of shoes before. It really looks cool. It's another nice unexpected pop. So I'm a big fan of how they did these swooshes. The material that we have on the base of these feels even more premium than this burgundy suede. And I believe this is a nubuck. It doesn't really have any length to the hair on it or anything, and it does just feel like a very premium material. This reminds me of the material on the base of the OG olive Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. So not the medium olives that just came out last year, but it reminds me of the base material for the women's pair that came out a couple years ago. On the toe box, you can see all these perforations like we always get on SB Dunk lows, and you can also see that dark nubuck on the side panels, as well as up around the collar on the heel. And again, you can see that red contrast stitching going across there, and I think that looks clean as a whistle. Our tongue is more of that really nice dark nubuck. It's got this kind of wax stamp, and again, that's something that if you've had wine before, if you've seen bottles of wine before, a lot of the times they use that wax as like a seal or something. On the inside of that, you can see that Labrador, and I believe that it says RIOT Skateshop, Bordeaux's finest. I think that's a pretty cool touch. These came with some SB style laces already in the shoes in a lighter burgundy color, and they look nice, but they also came with a couple of spares. The spares are just flat laces, and it looks like we have one that is like a Bordeaux color and then one that is just a flat black style lace, but they feel pretty premium. They have a really nice feel to them. I really like how the aglets on the spares were dipped in wax. I think that just feels like another premium touch. We have a lighter burgundy piping going along that dark nubuck tongue, and then that kind of matches the color that we have for the sock liner. And then down on the insole, we see another inspiration from wine. It is made out of cork. When I first saw that, I kind of was disappointed because typically I don't really like cork insoles in shoes, but this isn't cork all the way down through it. I actually saw where the cork is just the top layer. I tried grabbing it to pull it out, but it is really glued down in there, and I don't want to rip it. But below that cork layer, it's like your standard SB Dunk Low insole, so it does have that Zoom Air and everything in it, but just the top is cork. So I don't think that'll annoy me as much as whenever I get an insole and it's cork all the way through. The reason I don't like that is because a lot of times it makes the shoes squeak, and that drives me absolutely insane. But that was a pretty quick look at my first SB pickup of 2025, the RIOT Skateshop SB Dunk Low. I think they came out pretty well. Like I said, they're far more premium than what I was expecting. My only complaint is just that I have that huge glue stain on there, and a lot of y'all might not even see what I'm talking about, but to me, that's just a major eyesore because these things are just so nice. They came out so classy, but I just hate having a giant glue stain on there like that. But again, if y'all have any tips on how to get glue stains off of really premium suede, then please share that with me down in the comments. As always, I really appreciate y'all watching.
I am trying to get to 25,000 subs this year.
So if you're watching and you're not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We know there's all kinds of pairs coming in the month of February, and I will be making all kinds of content. Last year, I kind of tried to really put out as much content as I could, and now to begin this year, I've been taking a little bit of a break just to catch my breath a little bit, and sometimes it is nice and it's necessary to just step away for a minute, but I can assure you next month I will be making a whole bunch of content because I plan on picking up just about everything that I can. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.